The deadline for Season 10, Rich and Famous, has finally arrived. Therefore, I decided this is the perfect time to take a look through almost all of the submissions created for this season and decide which ones are the most likely to end up being added to the game. I will rate the items from a score of 1 through 5. If the item gets a score that's lower, then this makes me think it is very unlikely to be added. If it gets a higher score, this makes me think it is more likely to be added. Also, I need to clarify that I am not rating the items based on how good I think they look. I am rating them based on how likely I think they are to make it into the season. There are a lot of awesome items submitted that will not be getting a high score, and this is not because I think they look ugly or anything like that. Now, there's a lot of stuff we gotta cover here, so if you want to skip ahead, I don't blame you. I've put some time codes down in the description and in the pinned comment below, so go ahead and skip around to whichever section interests you. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Kicking things off, we have the Vostok by Rally Subby. It's certainly well put together. I'd say this is a 3 out of 5. It has a decent chance of being the grand prize. Then we have the President, also by Rally Subby. Now, I'd also give this one a 3 out of 5. It's pretty solid, very well put together, but there's nothing mind-blowing about it. Then by Meeg, we have the Spectre. This one, honestly, I think it's a 2 out of 5. I can't really see this one being added. It's a bit more blocky in its style, and I don't think the devs would want to add it because it doesn't really fit with the theme of the game vehicles. Then by Speed Queen, we have the Deluxe. This is a Rolls-Royce boat tail, and keep in mind this will not be the last boat tail that you see. I think this boat tail is really good. I would give it a 3 out of 5, and this is not because of the design. This is because there are 2 other boat tails that we're going to take a look at in a second. So I don't have too much faith that this particular one will be selected, considering that there are 2 other ones. As I was saying, here we have the Apex Premiere by Icleon. Like Speed Queens, I think this one also looks great. Icleon's a fantastic designer. He created 2 awesome looking vehicles, but I'm also giving it a 3 out of 5 because, like I said, there's 3 boat tails submitted. So I'm not fully confident that Icleon's will be the one chosen. Then, by Caracal Enjoyer, we have the Super Limo. This is a pretty crazy vehicle. As you can see, this limo is quite a crazy concept. Just look at how large it is. It's got quite a bit of stuff packed into it. It's got some donuts, Bloxy Cola, a whole TV inside, and it even has a hot tub in the back. Now, I'm gonna say this one is a 3 out of 5. I really like it, and it's definitely a really unique vehicle, but I'm not quite sure if they're gonna add this one because it's really long and there's a lot of details in here. This vehicle is just really over the top. However, I could see them adding this as they might think it's a really unique vehicle in a good way. For our last boat tail that I was talking about, we have the Yacht by Grimme. Like the others, this one also looks really good. It even has opening drawers and a convertible roof. It's not a bad design by any means. However, I'm also going to give this one a 3 out of 5 because there are multiple boat tails. If there was just one boat tail submitted by like one of these guys, I would have given it a 4 out of 5. But since there are 3 of them, I'm only giving it a 3 out of 5 because I don't know which one would be selected. Then by Coinese, we have the Ghost. This was submitted as a revamp for the Celestial, so this will make me give it a 1 out of 5. While I think this looks incredible and I really wish this was the revamp for the Celestial instead of the revamp that we got, I do not think this will be added as the season prize. This was created as a revamp, not as its own unique vehicle, so I don't see this one being added at all. Then by Awesome Disco Guy, we have the Celestial. This one's alright. It's pretty solid, but I don't think this will be a season prize, so I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. I don't really see this one being added. Then by Italimpex, we have the BMW 7 Series 2023. I'd say this is a 2 out of 5. This car looks really good, but it was created by Italimpex, who has already had a car added quite recently, so I don't see them adding yet another car of his so soon. Then by No Cartoonist, we have the Boeing 737. Now, of course, this is a 1 out of 5, but the reason I'm even talking about this is because cartoonists submitted this in the thread, so I had to talk about it. Here by Pendomes, we have the La Fuerza. This one is also a 1 out of 5 because it's a retro vehicle. Also by Zero Tsu, we have the Cosmos. You know what? I think this is a 3 out of 5. This has like I think this has a higher chance of being added, but I'm not putting too much stock into it. Also by Zero Tsu, we have the Posh Turbo. Now this one, I think it's a 2 out of 5. I can't really see this one being the grand prize, although it does look very good. Again by Zero Tsu, we have the Synthesis. Now, I think this one is a 2 or a 3. I'll say 2 because I can't really see this one being added. But with 3, there's like a greater possibility it could be added. Again, by Zero Tsu, we have the Genesis. This one is a 1 out of 5. I don't think they'll add this one as a Season 10 prize because, like some other vehicles I've mentioned, it fits more with like a retro, old-timey season. Again, by Zero Tsu, we have the Emissary. This one is a 3 out of 5. I think this has a higher chance of being added, but I'm not 100% confident. Then by Sedney157, we have the Garden. I don't know if that was meant to be Guardian or if it's just the Garden. I think this one's a 2 out of 5. It's just kind of a normal looking car. It's not like a sports car or something like that. I don't really see the devs adding this one as a season prize. Also by Sydney, we have the Illumina. This one I think is a 3 out of 5. I think this has a slightly higher chance of being added. Then by Grimme1235, we have the Legacy. This is a Ford GT model. Now this vehicle looks incredible, but I think it's also a 3 out of 5. I'm not fully sold that this will be the Season 10 grand prize. Then by Single Search, we have the Lucente. Honestly, I think this one is also a 2 out of 5. I don't really see this vehicle having a high chance of being added. Again, by Single Search, we have the Leviathan E1. I think this one is also a 3 out of 5. It looks great, but it has a lot of details, so I'm not quite sure if it would fit in with the game, so I don't really have a high confidence this could be added, but there's definitely a chance. Then by Ed, we have the Fraser. Now this vehicle looks awesome, but I think this one is a 2 out of 5. I don't see this one winning because Ed already had a car added last season. Again by Ed, we have the Gem. This one is a 1 out of 5. And not because this vehicle looks bad or anything, and this time it's not even because Ed created it. It's because it has an insane amount of detail put into it, and jailbreak vehicles are in a place where they can't be too detailed. Like this one has 4,000 faces, so I don't see this one being added at all. Then by Icleon, we have the Pinnacle. I would say this one is a 3 out of 5. It has a decent chance of being added. Then by Icleon, we have the Strider, based on the Bugatti La Voiture Noire. I'm gonna regret saying that, am I? So this one, I would say it's a 3 out of 5. It's an awesome looking Bugatti. However, there is one Bugatti that I think looks better than this one, so that's why this one is a 3 out of 5. This one is less likely to be added than that. Again, by Icleon, we have the Hermes. This vehicle is a 1 out of 5. I don't see this one being added as it's more retro, old-timey. I don't think it would fit in with the rich and famous theme. Then by Dai Was Taken, we have the Shizukisa. This one is a 2 out of 5. I don't think this has a particularly high chance of being added. Then by Dai Was Taken, we have the Macaron. I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5. This vehicle is just super well made and it has a ton of support, almost 700 upvotes. This is one of the top season submissions of all time, so I feel like this has a really high chance of being added in the next season, though it isn't a guarantee. Again, by Dai Was Taken, we have the Anubis. I would say this one's a 3 or 4. You know what? I think it's a 3.5. I'll give it a 3.5. Then by Speed Queen, we have the Asimov. This vehicle looks really cool, it's really unique, and I imagine it would be pretty fast. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I think it has a higher chance of being the season grand prize. Then by Rally Subby, we have the leader. Now, I'm going to give this one a 1 out of 5. I don't see this one being the grand prize at all. It was created 5 months ago as a revamp for the classic car, and honestly, I wish this was added as a revamp for the classic car because it looks really awesome. However, for a rich and famous theme, it just does not fit at all. Like I've mentioned for several cars, this fits more with like an old-timey retro season, not for a rich and famous season. So I don't see any likelihood of this vehicle being chosen. Then by Rally Subby, we have the Cherry, another Lamborghini. This one looks really good and Rally did a good job designing it, so I think it has a pretty good chance of winning. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. For our final submission for the vehicles section, we have the Poseidon M12 by Rising Shadow 720. This vehicle looks absolutely phenomenal. It's the perfect blend of both the luxury kind of vehicles that we've been looking at, as well as the supercars that we've been looking at. It kind of blends the two kinds of cars that people have been submitting together. Therefore, I think I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. I think this has honestly a really high likelihood of being added. That's it for the vehicles section of this video. If I had to guess which ones are the most likely based on our ratings, I think one of the 3 boat tails, the limo submitted by Happy Hongo, the Bugatti from Dai Was Taken, the Mob by Speed Queen, or the Poseidon M12 by Rising Shadow is the most likely to be the grand prize. Now let's move on to talking about vehicle customization submissions. Starting off by Hippie, we have the gold chest. Now this one's a 1 out of 5. This one I do not see being added at all. It's just really basic. It only has 8 upvotes. Then by MR Zimmerman, we have the casino rims. I'm gonna be honest, this is a 1 out of 5. I don't see them adding this one at all. From what I can see, there's not really a way to customize it. And also, it just has a lot of detail, so I don't see the devs adding this one. Then by Lil Theric, we have the RTG spoiler. Now this one I think is also 1 out of 5. Not because it looks bad or it's basic, it's just because it doesn't fit the rich and famous theme at all. Then by Rising Shadow, we have the Cash Blaster spoiler. Now, I think this one is a 5 out of 5. I think this has a really high likelihood of being added. It has almost 500 upvotes, it has a lot of support, and it's just a really awesome spoiler that I think a lot of people would want to get. It even shoots out money textures, and we know now that spoilers can emit textures from them. Then we have the Vault Rims by Dr. Radium. These ones are a 2 out of 5. These look really good in my opinion, but the thing is, apparently they're kind of heavy. Like they would weigh down the vehicle by a significant amount, and they would look kind of weird while you're driving since the safe sticks out. Again by Dr. Radium, we have the Golden Waves texture. This one's a 2 out of 5. Also by Dr. Radium, we have the Leopard print. I'd say this is also a 2 out of 5. Then we have the King's Crown. I think this one's a 3 out of 5. I think there's a higher chance this one could be added. Then we have the Golden Marble skin. I think this one's a 3 out of 5. This has a higher chance of being added than some of the other skins. Then by Caracal Enjoyer, we have the Roulette Rim. I think this one's a 3 out of 5. I'm not particularly sold on it, and I don't think it's really the top candidate for rims for the season, but it has a pretty good chance, so I'm not totally ruling it out. Then by Oof Ed, we have the Diamond Engraved rims. I think these rims are a 5 out of 5. I think there's a really high chance they'll be added. These rims look awesome. They have a lot of detail in them while still looking really good on the Jailbreak style of vehicles. And overall, it's just a really good quality rim that I think is practically guaranteed to be chosen. Then by Icleon, we have the White Marble texture. I think this one's a 4 out of 5. Again, by Icleon, we have the Black Marble texture. Now, I'm gonna say this one's a 1 out of 5 because the Earthquake skin by Coinese looks very, very similar to this one. Then by Speed Queen, we have the Crown Jewel watch rims. I'd say these ones are a 4 out of 5. I think there's a higher chance that these ones will be added. Again, by Speed Queen, we have the Casino chip rims. These ones are also a 4 out of 5. I could see these ones being added as well. For our final vehicle customization item, we have the Jewel spoiler. This spoiler looks really good on the vehicle, and I think it would fit the theme really well, so I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I think there's a really good chance it will be added. Now, we're going to talk about the submitted apartment decorations. Starting off, we have the necklace display by No Cartoonist. This one, I think, is a 3 out of 5. I think has an alright chance of being added. Then by Withiax, we have the Walk of Fame star. I would say this one's a 3 out of 5 as well. Then by Doggo McDingo, we have the Luxury Kitchen. I would say this is a 2 out of 5. I don't think this has a really high likelihood of being picked, as it doesn't really evoke rich and famous to me. Like, these are just more modern furniture, not rich furniture. Then by Doggo McDingo, we have the Criminal's Throne. This one's pretty funny. I think this one is a 3 out of 5. Not fully confident this one will be added. Then by Silent Polarization, we have the Grandfather Clock. This one's a pretty good looking model. I think it's a 3 out of 5. I think there's certainly a decent chance they could add this. Then by Demas Mastro, we have the poker table. Now, well, I think this looks great. I think it's a 1 out of 5 because it involves gambling, and Roblox, you do not want to mess with them when it comes to gambling. The reason the devs got away with the casino is because there's no gambling tables or anything like that inside the lobby. So I don't see them adding this one, as it's like actually a gambling tool. Then by Lil Therk, we have the Gold Katana. I think this one's a 2 or 3. 2. I don't really see them adding this one. Again, by Dr. Radium, we have the Grand Piano. I think this one's a 4 out of 5. I think this has a higher chance of being added. And then again, by Dr. Radium, we have the red carpet furniture item. You know what? I think this is also a 4 out of 5. This also has a really high chance of being added in my opinion, but it's not a complete shoe-in for me. Again, by Dr. Radium, we have the Pile of Cash. This one's a 3 out of 5, mainly because from the picture provided here, the cash textures look blurry. So I don't know if that's how it would look in-game as well, but it is a really good concept in my opinion. Again, by Caracal Enjoyer, we have the non-fungible token. I think this one's a 2 out of 5, mainly because this would be more fitting for a meme season. Again, by Caracal Enjoyer, we have the Chandelier. I think this is a 3 or a 4. You know what, I'll be generous. I'll give it a 4. I think this has a higher chance of being added. It just fits the theme pretty well in my opinion. Then we have the poker table. This one would also be a 1 out of 5 because it's a game usually used in gambling, and I'm sure Asimo doesn't want to mess with Roblox like that, so I don't think this one will be added. Then by Top Prime, we have the Golden Deagle apartment item. This one's a 2 out of 5. Don't have high confidence in this one being added. And I don't even know what scale this is. Like, I don't know how big compared to your avatar this is. I wish TO Prime provided a reference image. Then we have the Golden Toilet. 2 out of 5. Also by Rally Subby, we have the Tape Fruit. This one, I think it's also a 2 out of 5. Don't have high hopes for this one being added, because it's more of like a meme item than a rich and famous item. And we have the Bobux card. Now this one, unfortunately, it's a 1 out of 5. I don't think this one will be added at all because it's really basic. It's literally just a green block. For our last apartment decoration, we have the Gold Cube. This is such an amazing creation. Look at how much detail went into this. This is just brilliant. There's really no words left to say about this. This is not just a 5 out of 5. This is a 10 out of 5. This transcends all of Jailbreak. It's just brilliant. There's really no words left to say about it. This concludes my coverage of almost every single item submitted for Jailbreak Season 10. What do you think? Are you excited for Season 10? Which submissions are your favorite? Make sure to tell me all your thoughts down below in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more Roblox Jailbreak content. Also consider following me on Twitter and joining my Discord server if you want to talk with me more directly, both of which are linked in the description below. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later.